And so it begins. Orasis is said in Latin, sic in fide. By the way, I apologize if I pronounce anything incorrectly. I am doing my best here. And I don't know how all the words that I will be saying in Latin are actually pronounced. Here is another having fun with Latin video lesson for you. The other day, as I was happily sitting on my couch with a beer, some popcorn, and the TV, watching a Saskatchewan Roughriders, which is my football team, watching one of their games, I hear a sweet voice, which can only belong to my wife, say to me, "Dan, my friend is coming over. You need to get up off the couch and vacuum the house. There are popcorn crumbs everywhere." To which I replied, "Natura abhorret a vacuo," which means nature hates a vacuum. Verbatim, which means word for word, she responds with pacta sunt servanda, which means agreements must be kept, followed by you had better get this done now because hic sunt dracones, which means there are dragons. About to retort with something equally profound, I look over at my brother Richard, who is watching the game with me, and he says to me while smiling, "Omnis ver enim sui," which means every man for himself. Obviously, he had forgotten our lifelong brotherly pact, Semper Fidelis, based on the USMC motto, which means always faithful. I paused and thought quietly for a moment in the interest of self-preservation, knowing that silentium est aureum, translated into English, means silence is golden, and was then about to say something, as inspiration struck me when I heard my wife again speak from the other room. "Quanto sias quantosius," and I knew this phrase, and it was in English, the sooner the better. Tickles of annoyance now tugged at me as I started to set down my beer, and I hear a laugh coming from my brother as he spouts out, "Regnat populus," the people rule. I look at him derisively and say to him, "Risus abundat in ore stultorum," meaning, laughter is abundant in the mouth of fools, which causes him to actually snort some of his beer out through his nose. I still haven't said anything back to my wife in the other room, and so I begin to hear footsteps coming from that room down the hallway and headed to the living room in my direction. My wife is not that heavy yet. The footsteps coming my way sounded heavy, not like her at all, more like the sound of an angry elephant, or so I thought at the time. It was beginning to look like it was time to put the football game on hold, and by now the smile on my brother's face was really starting to piss me off. As I started to get out of my chair, I glared at him and said, "Mors vincit omnia," which means death conquers all. He was now in full laughter mode and responded with, "Morituri te salutant," which translated English is, "Those who are about to die salute you." To which, being quick-minded, I said in response, "Morituri nolimus mori," which means we who are about to die don't want to. With that, I finished standing up and turned to face my beloved wife, who was just now coming into the room and carrying a full head of steam. My brother had one last thing to say to me from behind as I was turning to meet my oncoming wife. I heard him say to my back, again with laughter coming from deep within him, "Remember, premonitus, premunitus," which translated is, "Remember, forewarned is forearmed." I looked at my wife, and in her gentle, yet I knew dangerous voice, how she always managed to achieve that I'll never know, but many times in our wonderful and long relationship I have heard sweetness mixed with impending violence, her Viking upbringing giving her these skills, I am sure. As she said to me, "Dio volente," which means God willing, ceteris paribus, which means all other things being equal, you will be starting the vacuuming sometime today, like in the next moment or two, correct? Not being an absolute idiot, and fearing for my life, I responded with the Greek Olympic motto, "Citius altius fortis," which means faster, higher, stronger. And in the blink of an eye, which in Latin, by the way, is inictu oculi, I was headed to the hall closet to pull out the vacuum. With my back now facing the TV and not seeing it at all, I heard Saskatchewan score a touchdown, and the sudden cheering of my brother, who was still sitting on the couch eating popcorn, drinking beer, and watching the game, made me realize that I was missing it all. Under my breath and thinking about my brother, I mumbled the words, "Ophidian in herba," which means snake in the grass, and I turned on the vacuum cleaner in the living room, hoping to drown out the sound of the TV. That's all for this video. Bye for now.